All
Love
right.
the intro.
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Movie Mates. I'm Tyrone. I'm here with the lovely Miss Jamie Lee of In the Front Row. How you doing today, buddy?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm so excited to be doing this with you today. This is our first inaugural Movie Mates. If you can't figure out the name, my God, so help you. But yeah, so today we're going to be talking about some shows that we've been watching, some movies we've been watching over the past. Make sure you guys comment down below some things that are going on with you. What have you been watching lately? Um, but yeah, why don't we just hop right into this, Jamie Lee?
Yep.
All right, and to start off, let's round of applause that we're here together doing our thing on this beautiful Thursday, Friday afternoon. And to start out, we have
Um,
Emily and Paris.
yes.
Now I haven't watched Emily in Paris in a few seasons, but
Mm.
this just came out, so it's hot for you. What's going on? Tell us about
I,
it.
I love it. Emily's staying in Paris, but she's always torn between. Well, at first it was torn between like jobs, then it was torn between lovers. Now it's torn between jobs. I mean, it might get a bit
Yes.
repetitive eventually, but I love it.
Yeah.
I really love it. The scenery of this place is just beautiful, you know. Everything is beautiful. The fashion, the accents, the scenery,
Yep.
it's all really, really nice to look at. And I really like Lily. I think she's a really cute actor, so I'm a little bit biased. But yeah, I'm really liking this movie. This series, sorry. They've
Has
added
ha,
another guy last season, and I'm really liking him. I know people have thrown his name out for like the new Bond and things like that. I don't think people should
mm.
jump that far in, but yeah, for this series, it works. It's really cute.
Yeah. Have has she changed her style at all over the past couple seasons? Like that's been something I've been super curious about is her style. How has that changed? Because like in shows like Gossip Girl and Euphoria, it's like such a big deal. Like have you noticed anything there?
I don't think so. No, she still wears them gorgeous outfits. Her friend, Mindy, was it? I can't remember the friend's name, and I
Yeah.
literally watched it last night. Anyway, her friend, who's the singer, her outfits she's definitely gotten a lot more bold because her career has sort of skyrocketed. Yeah, so
hmm
her fashion choices have definitely changed, but yeah, this is just yeah a show that you can sort of indulge in because it will never be you, I guess, is the way that I watch it. You know, like I would never wear half of this stuff. I would never go
Yeah.
to Paris and like live this luxurious lifestyle while having a really awesome job where you can sort of just be really chill and pretty much just be on Instagram all the time.
Right.
um,
Right.
yeah, she's got it pretty cruisy, and I don't know. I just really enjoy watching her and her journey in Paris.
Yeah, I've always when this show first came out, I was like super interested in it myself, and I was like curious because you know how everything is nowadays. I was like Emily in Paris. I was like, oh, is she gonna go somewhere else like Germany next season, or like go back to like London or like Ireland? I don't know. Like, has she done any traveling, or has she just been in Paris?
No, just in Paris. But that's a cool thing if they were to do that. Like, you know, they could have done the spin-offs and stuff, but I think it's a little bit close. What's the word I'm trying to like? It's too closed
They
off
like,
now. Yeah,
hmm
if they had
yeah,
done that, Emily in Paris, Emily in Germany, Emily in bloody Australia. Um, if they had done that, that would have been a really cool thing. But I think they're really locked in on the Paris now and the
yeah.
France. So yeah, I don't see it.
I mean,
I don't
it's
see them doing that.
yeah. I mean, it's a super cliche thing to like, Paris is like, oh my God, the city of romance and all
Yes.
that kind of thing. Is it? I imagine it's the same in like Australia, right, and like everywhere else.
That's how it feels. Yeah, yeah. The
Yeah,
city of
yeah,
love. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, because like there's in America, there's this big perception of like, oh my God, Paris is like this beautiful place. I actually
yeah.
went, funny story, I went to Paris, I want to say 2018, and it was like a big surprise Valentine's gift for my girlfriend. We had just graduated uni, and we decided to take this European trip, and like she really wanted to go to Paris. And so I, being like the type of person I'm super like type A organized, like, oh, let's go here and do this and that. I let her pick. I was like, all right, let's go. And like, she was so overwhelmed and like excited. She didn't do it. Like, she didn't like plan anything. So we just sort of went to like the Eiffel Tower and around and like, but oh my God, these people are some of the worst drivers in the entire world. Like literally the worst. Like these people, it was like remarkable. Like how they were like driving by and like the stoplights and like, I was like non-existent. It was crazy. And then I get to like, you know, the cliche lock little thing where they put a lock.
Put the locks on.
So so we get there and this woman, I don't know if you can call them gypsies or whatever, but like maybe that's offensive. Apologies if you can't say that, but it was like there was a ring in front of me, like a gold ring, and I pick it up and I'm like, oh, okay, like I found this golden ring in Paris. That's sort of cool. And I'm like, oh,
dropping some signs.
I'm like, oh, let me tell my girlfriend. Oh, and then this woman goes, she goes, wow, you found this ring. It's so remarkable. I actually just dropped that, but you know, you can have it. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks, I guess. And then she goes, but I'm gonna need a little bit of money. And I'm like, oh no. No. I almost got conned.
Trying to scam the tourist.
Yes. Yeah. She like literally dropped the ring right in front of me and goes, oh, I found this ring. I'm like, so that was my experience in Paris. It was definitely not this romanticized version that Emily has.
Yeah.
And so when I watch the show, I do laugh a little bit because I do think that's sort of how everyone perceives Paris, as this beautiful place. But it's very much like New York, very stinky, very like just, I'll say it. It's okay. It's very crazy and active. And one of my good friends lives there, but no for me.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I just indulge myself because that would never be me. And it's just a cute series to watch at nighttime and just wind down. Don't have to think, just cute.
Oh, I love that. Like to me, if you can't enjoy a show like this, for me, I'm like, you and I probably will not be good friends because like I know like people who can just like shut their brain off, enjoy these sort of things and go into a different world. I'm like, you are a fun person. And like, to me, this series is super fun. So
yeah.
All right, let's see what we got next here. All right, next we got Glass Onion. So tech billionaire Miles Braun invites his friends for a getaway on his private Greek island. When someone turns up dead, Detective Benoit Blanc is put on the case.
Enter Benoit Blanc. I just love saying his name.
I know, same. Benoit Blanc. Oh, it's the best. I know it. I love when I watch a show and it's got like a huge, heavy country accent. It's just the best.
So good.
Did you like this more than Knives Out, the original?
No, I prefer the original.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the original had America's ass.
Right? Literally the biggest stars in that movie. But no spoilers. But I don't know. I just felt like with the other one, I was sort of left hanging the whole time. Like I was really on edge about who did it. It could have been any of them, in my opinion. You know what I mean? And because there was like such a big reveal at the end there, and the way that it was revealed was really cool. I really enjoyed that one. Compared to this one, I kind of knew all along, like you had that suspicion.
Yeah,
the others were a bit dodgy, and it could have been others as well. But yeah, I feel like the clues were sort of more obvious to you compared to the first.
No, yeah, that's how I felt. It was like you sort of wanted it to surprise you and be like, whoa, this big twist, you know, M. Night Shyamalan kind of thing. But like, you just felt all along it was that guy. But then to me, where I was kind of like, was like leading up to it, it felt like they were giving us that, you know, Janelle Monáe's character. She has this twin thing. You're like, oh shoot, like that's cool. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, that reveal was cool, I thought.
Yeah, that was really good. And then you get to the end, and he's just like, this guy's an idiot. And I'm like, okay, yeah. I mean, he is. that's it. That was the whole thing, you know, like it just didn't really give me that, like, and then it also sort of felt like, and this is my issue with Rian Johnson sometimes. Like, I don't know if you've seen his Star Wars movies, but like he tries to have this like big political message, and this one's about like, you know, billionaires not being as smart as they are and blah blah blah. But it just sort of felt like that came at the end where like if you sprinkle that throughout the movie, then maybe it works a little bit better. But like it just sort of like felt like we were getting this sort of preachy monologue at the end, you know?
Yeah, I thought the pacing of it was really off too. Like that first half an hour we spent getting to know, you know, Birdie J. Like there was a whole big party there where they were trying to figure out this riddle in order to open, to get the invitation. And it was like, why did we spend so much time on that? Like we spent so much time at Birdie J's party opening up this thing. And it was just like, we could have got that there was a riddle to get the invitation a lot sooner and then got to the actual island a lot sooner to see a little bit more oomph, a bit more something.
Yeah, like that's actually a really good point. Like what like, and the way they sort of portrayed it, like I think if they would have had like a quick, like what do you call it? Not like a reel, but like, you know, like they just showed everyone opening it like quickly, a montage. Yeah. Like that would have been fine, and it would have been funny to then see Janelle Monáe's character just go bang, smash, and hit like, because it's like, why are you like, oh, these people think they're so brilliant, and all you have to do is break it open, you know?
Yeah.
But like,
another thing too with that, like I sound like I'm hating on the movie, and I just want to justify that I'm not, because in those scenes, like even though I thought that they could have been skipped or done a lot faster, those scenes were like one of the most like creative scenes that I've watched, like compared to the first one, that where they split the screen up and they were showing like the 4 different characters, and then in the middle they had what was actually happening to the puzzle or to the riddle or whatever it is they're working on, but all 4 of them were doing it in different, you know, different times and different ways. I thought that was so creative and cool, like stylish to look at, but story wise I was like, man, all of that could have been scrapped, you know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I think that's sort of my hang up with Rian Johnson. And I did enjoy Glass Onion. Like I think on the Circle Club scale of 5, I probably give it a 4 out of 5. It really had the potential to be like a 5 out of 5 kind of thing for me, but it's like you said, like some of those moments felt a bit bumpy to get there, I think is the best way to describe it. Like it was super interesting to see that contraption. It was super interesting to sort of see Benoit unveil the layers of who this guy was and who Janelle Monáe's character was. But then it just sort of felt like once we got to that last act, it was like, eh. And even, oh God, like, you know what? Let me look up the name. I hate when I do this. I apologize, everyone, for not having the names down pat, but there are like a billion names in this. But Dave Bautista's character, like his girlfriend Whiskey, them, like that whole thing where it felt like he was like watching, like he was gonna maybe get back at him. So you're like, oh, maybe it was him because he's frustrated about his girlfriend. And then it just felt like all that was sort of like, what was the point of it, you know?
Yeah. And she had this sort of like attitude towards him where at the end there, where she was like, oh, he's such a dickhead. But it was like literally in the scene before, you were like all over him. And I didn't see where that sort of split, where that broke off. Yeah, I don't know. And there was a few things like their motivation at the end there, like they knew who the killer was and yet they still sided with him. It was like, well, you guys are either really terrible friends. Like, where did you suddenly go from, okay, he's a killer, it's all right, we'll still be his friend, to, you know, the lady getting her revenge. And then I don't know if I'm allowed to spoil this. Are we allowed to spoil this?
Yeah, sure. It's been out long enough, I think.
So Helen getting her revenge, and then suddenly everyone's like, yeah, let's start smashing stuff as well. Like there was just this split moment. And it was like, where did that motivation come from? Because you knew that he was a killer and yet you guys were still, you know, going to vouch for him and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, see, this is where I'm saying, like, I think Rian Johnson was trying to make some commentary about how, like, you know, super rich people and billionaires, they like get away with whatever. And like, they make excuses for their friends. But then when it's them, they're sort of like, hey, but it's just, I don't know. I think it wasn't executed probably the way that they had anticipated. But would you say you would recommend this or no?
Yeah, definitely. I did read too this morning that there was an alternate ending filmed. So there was, you know how the Mona Lisa was burnt, obviously with his clear, is that what it was called? Crystal or
Yeah.
something,
Yep.
whatever that technology was. That there was an alternate version recorded of Benoit like answering a phone call or talking to somebody that the real Mona Lisa is actually somewhere else. So he's that dumb that he didn't actually get the original. And I thought, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm more than happy that it burnt down. That was more satisfying to me, knowing that she got that revenge.
I agree, because I imagine Elon Musk in the same situation, right? And it's like it would be such like a celebration for everyone to be like, yes, this asshole is gonna get in trouble for destroying the Mona Lisa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good example of just like them adding this extra syrup that isn't really necessary. But okay, and I apologize. I should have done this before with Emily in Paris. You clearly recommended that too, yeah?
Oh, well, I'm saying yes if you are into that sort of cute, quirky, switch your brain off and just enjoy a cute little series. Do you know what I'm saying? I know that it won't be for a lot of people, but for me, I really enjoy winding down to something like that.
Yes, I agree. I totally do. All right, let's go see what we got next. Ginny and Georgia. So this is one of mine. You haven't seen this, have you?
Not an episode, no.
No, so I think if you like Emily in Paris, you gotta take a look at this one. Maybe for a couple episodes. This is set in New England, in Boston, where I'm from. They even make reference to like the high school I went to, which I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
Oh, look out.
Yeah, but like, so this is about this woman, Georgia, on the right, and her daughter. And she's this woman from the South, and she's a very Southern woman, like takes no one shit. You know, you're not gonna disrespect Miss Georgia. I'll tell you that much.
That's her mom.
Yeah, that's her mom. Yeah.
They look the same age.
Well, that's where it gets into. So she had her when she was 16, and so like. Obviously, having a kid when you're 16, you're going to deal with a lot of trials and tribulations, a lot of issues. And so there's this whole backstory that we don't really know in the audience, but like sort of slowly comes out as you're watching the show. And her daughter, Georgia, she deals with all these sort of things, being an interracial girl. Her dad's black. And just they move all over the place because the mom gets into hiccups and things. I'm not going to spoil, but what the mom does some things against the law, let's just say, and it kind of gets very interesting. And this season in particular, we deal with a lot of stuff about mental health and how to coincide with that, how to remedy that. We deal with and there's totally a lot of cringy moments in this, but there are some very, very good, like, serious moments in it where you're like, if they would only do serious, you would be like, yo, damn, this is a good show. But I actually sort of like that they don't do that. I think it's nice that they have those sort of like cringy moments and fun, because it's like she's in high school. Ginny, she's in high school, so there should be those kind of like moments, you know. And but I think this is a very good show. Would recommend it. I think that this show, they were saying, either is number one most watched right now, has passed Wednesday or something like that.
On Netflix, I think it was the most watched show. I'll jump on my Netflix real quick, but I'm pretty sure this was number one.
Yeah, it said, I saw from Variety, they said Wednesday's number one streak ends as Ginny and Georgia leads the top 10. And I think, honestly, it makes sense. They're definitely going to have a third season. This is one of these shows, too, that I found during the pandemic. And I wasn't expecting much of it, but it's very enjoyable, I would say. This is another show like...
Sorry, yeah.
Go ahead.
Top 10 shows in Australia on my Netflix is Ginny and Georgia. Good morning. Ginny and Georgia is number one. Wednesday, number 2. Kaleidoscope, number 3. And Emily in Paris, 4. So we are watching what's trending, mate.
Yeah, definitely. So what I have here on my list is Ginny and Georgia was number 1 with 180 million hours viewed. Kaleidoscope was 112 million, and then Wednesday was 81 million. Which honestly, and then Emily in Paris is fourth with 47 million. And honestly, pretty impressive that Wednesday is still up there. I'm sure we'll get into that at some point. But definitely a good series. Is this something that you have thought about watching? Has it been on your radar or?
Honestly, I've never watched an episode. I've never even seen a trailer or a teaser or anything to do with it, to be honest. So probably not on my radar.
Yeah.
Maybe if I watch something, maybe. But I've got the biggest list of to watch, and I've got too many. I don't want to keep starting. Yeah.
Same. Yeah, and this, and you know how I feel about the binge model, but this is 10 episodes. They're an hour each, and I'm like, bloody hell, like
that's long.
That's a lot of television. It is good though. So let's say this, by March, I want you to watch one episode of this and just let me, just to get your take on this, because I am curious, because if you like Emily in Paris, I think this is enough drama for you for sure.
Yeah. Well, if I just smash through my next 4 episodes of Emily in Paris, I'll have one less to watch and one more to add.
All right, next up here, we got the Broken Hearts Gallery. I knew nothing about this, but as you can see in the description here, it seemed interesting. Tell me a little bit about this one.
It's really, really good. Not quite sure what the lady's name is, but it stars Dacre from Stranger Things. He's our Billy, obviously. So Billy?
Oh, I didn't even notice
Billy.
that.
I'm getting confused there with what's the new guy that was
Nick. His name is Nick in the show, and the girl is Lucy.
Yeah, she's beautiful. I have not seen her in anything. I know she's in something else. That I know the face from somewhere else, but she is so quirky, fun. She just has so much like charisma in herself.
Of course.
What's she from?
I just looked her up, and first off, my mouth literally dropped. So apologize to my girlfriend if you're watching, but she's Australian, and I'm like, of course. She?
Because
she's from Newcastle.
Get out! What is she in? Because her face is so familiar to me.
The Blockers, The Package, Blockers, Holla, 7 Days, Miracle Workers. But my goodness,
Aussie, unreal.
Yeah, and she was in
both
Bad
Aussie
Education.
then, because he's Aussie. You know that, right?
Yeah, yep, which makes sense. But my God, what a beautiful woman. Anyways,
she is. I love her even more now. Oh damn, she is too. New South Wales, unreal, cool. That's so cool.
I'm telling you, the Aussies, like, dude, people are always talking about, Italians and French. Australians are the most beautiful people in the world. I don't care what anyone says. You guys have beautiful souls too. That's what I love about you too.
I just love this so much more now, that knowing that I knew her face from somewhere, and I was like, something's annoying me, and it might have been that. Maybe it was the accents. Anyway, this was beautiful. It's really, really good. It's a girl that sort of hoards things, and she keeps these souvenirs and collectibles from her relationships or experiences in life, and she's just got this whole room of like hoarding stuff. And then she meets a guy who is down on his luck trying to start up a hotel, and she's like, hey, why don't I just leave my tie here? The tie that she got from the guy who's a jerk and broke her heart, because that's what guys do. And she left it there, and then she shared it on Instagram, and it became this sort of phenomenon where other people would do it, this trend sort of thing where people would just go and leave. I think one lady brought like a leg cast that she'd been keeping of like her man or something that left her at the altar, or I don't know, some story, and just these horrible things that people have collected. And at first it's like really cheesy and a little bit cheesy is the word that I would use, but you get to the message of it eventually, and it's a good message about letting go of the past and moving on with life and not living in the past, I guess. And that's a really cool message that they get to along the way.
Yeah, this cast I'm looking at is just really just I mean, I know a lot of these cast members from different things, and like this is I'm gonna try to share the screen for a second here, because the cast to me is like, wow, I know a lot of these folks. So we know him from Stranger Things. This guy here is in Never Have I Ever, which is a great Brittany Runs a Marathon, Free Guy. He's super funny to me. I love him. This girl is in, and she Australian? Oh no, she's from LA. This girl was in Booksmart. Don't know if you've seen Booksmart.
No.
That's a good one. This guy was in The Menu that I watched, and he's also in that Netflix El Chapo Narcos show.
Mm-hmm. He's great in
a
this
bunch
movie,
of other
by the
things.
way. Yep.
And this guy, I absolutely adore him. He's in Ginny and Georgia.
Gotcha.
So this cast, I mean, you got quite a cast. I will say, I'm now convinced. I will definitely. This is on my watch list for tonight. I will watch this tonight.
Yeah, it's the first movie that I watched this year, so I might be a little bit biased because, you know, I'm going to have a soft spot for that reason. But I thought their chemistry together was really, really good. And yeah, just the casting alone was really, I don't know, I haven't really seen, I mean, their chemistry was great. I just talked about that. But even story-wise, I haven't really heard of a story or the plot that goes similar to this one. I think it's really new and fresh take on like a rom-com, I guess.
Yeah. No, it seems like it. The plot I have there is, what if you saved a souvenir from every relationship you've ever been in? Then I would say then you'd be a Scorpio and you'd be Tyrone probably, you know?
Very sentimental.
I'm kidding. Yeah, no, I when I was younger, I would always do those sort of things, like oh man, like, can I really throw away this photo? Or, oh, can I do? And then like, I got to a point where I was like, why do I have this shit anymore? You know, like I'm in a relationship with someone for like years now, and I'm just like, but I don't know, like I guess I'm a sensitive person, or I'm like, it feels like obviously you've moved on, but I'm like, you feel like you're throwing away like a human or an emotion. So I totally get that.
I do too. I've got this massive box. It's in the garage because I don't want to keep it in my house and feel like I'm holding on to it. But it's just this box of memories, you know, whether it was a card from somebody, and mine is not relationship wise. Like it is relationship, like purely just guys she's dated or slept with. But mine is like memories. Like I used to manage a band back in the day, and I've got like my mate's drumsticks in there, and just like really good times that we all had. And I've just kept like little bits from that, or you know, just things from our like IVF specialist when, you know, we found out that we were having a baby and things like that, like stuff that, I don't know, just very sentimental, but very specific on the sentimental, not like who I've dated.
Sure. Yeah, like like I and I've always thought like maybe I'll like sit with my kids one day and reminisce and give them old stories about when your dad was a kid. But like I have like, do you remember those Live Strong bracelets?
I know the bracelets you're talking about, but I don't.
Yeah, like the little yellow ones.
Okay.
Like I have like that in there. I have like movie ticket stubs from like things that I saw when I was like a lot younger. I even have like, you know, those pop snapper things that you throw at the ground. They're like the little they're like these little like white things that you throw at the ground and they pop. And like I've got those. I don't even know if they still work, but like it was just such a big part of my childhood. We would like throw them against the wall and stuff. But anyways, this seems fantastic. Definitely will check it out. And so for that, we'll give it a little confetti. All right, Kaleidoscope. Okay. Have you started this?
I'm three episodes in, so don't give off too much. I'm 3 in. Yeah. You're 3 as well.
So am I. But this is what's so interesting about this is our orders are all different. So your 3 might not be my 3 and vice versa. But do you know your order at all? I'm gonna look mine up while.
I was just about to say I think we're on green. On green. But I've definitely watched red. Red was my number 1. And then we watched yellow.
Mine went yellow. Mine went yellow, green, blue, orange, violet, red, pink, and then white. And so apparently everyone starts with this with black, which is the first one, and then we all end with white. And then everything in between is sort of like mixed up. And what's cool about this series is like that, like it'll start like if you have yellow, maybe it's 3 months before the heist. If you have green, it's 2 weeks. You got violet, it's 2 hours before the heist. And like it tells this story, and when you're watching it, you're like, for me, I'm like, I can't believe people are not watching it in my order because this feels perfect. This feels
Crazy,
like the perfect
hey?
order to be watching it in. Yeah.
Yeah. We're on blue, by the way, not green. Red, yellow, blue.
Red,
What did
yellow.
you say yours was?
Mine was yellow, green, blue. I'll type it in the chat. Well, type in the chat what your order is for Kaleidoscope if you're watching. What is your Kaleidoscope order? But how are you feeling about this series so far?
I like it. I really like it mainly because of the lead. We've talked about this before on my channel.
Oh, who? John Carlos?
Yeah. Let me just get up. What was I?
Hold on.
Something then. Oh, the movie that it's like. I think it's Thieves of the Dead.
John Carlos. The man, the myth, the legend. Yeah,
Look at this name dropper over here. Look at this cool guy.
Yeah, look at that. Just casual little hangout with Mr. Jean Carlos. Whatever, no biggie.
Just hanging with my friend.
Yeah, I love him. Like, to me, if we can get this man in Marvel, I will be totally content, totally happy with where we sit with this, because he's just so good at everything he does. And like, and he has this, I don't know how you feel, but it feels like he's a bad guy, but at the same time you're like, nah, he's got reason behind what he's doing.
Yeah, he plays a good bad guy, but I think his reasons are always justified. But I don't know, can't see him as a good guy. He's always got that sort of twinge of what's he up to behind him, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like it would be the perfect like acting opportunity for him to like showcase, hey, like I can do this. I can be, a baddie, but I can also be a good guy as well, which is why I really, really want him to play Professor X. And to plug real quick, he was at an event in Boston at Fan Expo, and I asked him the question, and there was a couple like outlets that tipped that and picked it up. And when I was talking to him behind backstage, and he was like, I was like, oh, sorry, I know you probably get pressed all the time about that. And he was like, no, don't worry. It's a good question. If you want something to happen, you have to, how do you say it? Manifest it into reality. And so I think it's definitely something that he wants. He definitely wants to play Professor X. So we shall see how that all turns out.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we got next.
The series itself, though, just going real quick back to that, it reminds me a lot of Army of Thieves. Have you ever watched Army of the Dead?
No.
Okay. Well, Army of Thieves is the prequel to that, and it's basically this really, really smart German guy who goes around. They end up recruiting him to open up these safes, like world's hardest safes to open and things like that. And they go and do basically exactly what happens in this. Well, exactly what happens so far that I've seen in this movie. So it's definitely something I've seen before, but it's a fun watch. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know what it is, but it just seems like society right now has this like sort of kick for mysteries. Like, we're really interested in getting mystery movies for some reason right now. And I think it makes sense because it's fun to sort of try to figure these things out on your own. I think that's sort of like the big appeal for a mystery. But yeah, I'm loving it so far. I'm really enjoying it, and I gotta finish it. Just gotta find the time.
Same. All
right, next up we got Miss Wednesday. We
Speaking of
talked about
mysteries,
Wednesday
yeah.
on. Yeah, we talked about Wednesday on our on our channels. What did you think about Wednesday?
Loved it. Was not surprised at all when we heard we were getting a series 2. I was like, was that just not expected? Yeah, it was
Oh
really, really
yeah,
good.
totally.
Yeah, Jenna nailed it. We've talked about this a little bit, as you said, on our channel, but yeah,
Hmm.
the relationship stuff, I kind of want them to put a knife in that, and just sort of focus on the mystery, as you said.
Yeah.
Everyone's really keen on that at the moment, and yeah, I'm not down for Wednesday being in a relationship. I'm just down for her, being this kooky, spooky mystery solver detective, teen detective. That's what I want. I don't want anything else.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think they definitely need more. It feels like, and by more I mean more of the mystery and trying to figure things out. I almost would have liked it to maybe have her try to figure out two or three different cases in the whole season, and like maybe they're all related somehow. But like it felt like that whole relationship thing, which we don't need to get into forever, it didn't work for me. And I know a lot of the girlies online are like, oh, she
I'm
should be with
shipping
Enid.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm shipping Enid and her. And like, honestly, that would have been probably more interesting than what we got, but I don't even think it's necessary.
Mm, I definitely agree. I
uh,
don't want to see that.
you're like, pass. But it is
Yeah.
cool, like the set design when you go in to see their bedroom and like it's like half black and half pink. Like the whole time I was just thinking, I'm like, that would be such a cool movie poster, you know?
Mm, yeah. Yeah, it was
She
good.
seemed. Did you watch any of the Golden Globes last night?
Only
Your morning?
No, I didn't watch any myself, but I did see obviously
Yeah.
clips of little bits and pieces of who won and things like that. But I
Mhm.
did see what Jenna was wearing, and I was like, oh, how refreshing to see her not wearing something black, not wearing something very typical of Wednesday. And when I heard her speak, like the interviewer was basically giving her this massive ego about how she's this phenomenon
Oh
and,
yeah.
all this stuff and just building her head. And she was just so humble. She shut everything down. Like,
Yeah.
I don't go on TikTok and, I'm not a phenomenon. I'm just
Yeah.
an actor. She's so humble, and it's so nice to see this refreshing change coming from somebody young.
And
Normally
yeah,
they're
and
so different.
yeah. And what's ironic about her is she's from Coachella Valley, California. And like everyone knows Coachella is like the sun crowns. And so like you would think someone from Coachella would be like super like, oh my God, California. But like she's like not like that at all. Like it was kind of funny. She sort of seemed ticked off because they kept asking her
Mm,
about like that dance, which is like,
yeah.
in my opinion, I'm like, come on, you've been in the industry for like 15 years. You're telling me you're gonna like you have Jenna Ortega in front of you and you're gonna ask her about the dance? That like she's been asked about that like 1,000,000,001 times. Like
It's
ask
so
her like, oh
overplayed.
yeah, it's like ask her about, oh, I heard that like do you have this Scream movie coming out? Or like, oh, like X, like what other like horror movies do you want to be in? Like I know you're a big horror fan. Like they don't have that sort of they don't really have that sort of like, I guess, like wherewithal or like vision to see. Like I think, and that's what I think so people love about YouTube is like when you're doing interviews, and that's why you guys got to subscribe to Miss Jamie Lee because her
There's the
interviews,
plug. Reel it in. Reel it in.
she's always yeah, no. Jamie Lee's interviews are like she always gets the best out of these people, and I'm like, damn, that's what I love to see. And like they were not doing that with her whatsoever. Fun fact: Miss Jonah Ortega is in the Marvel Universe. Do you know what movie she was in?
No.
Do you want me to? Do you want to take a guess for the fans here to have a little fun?
Is it recent?
No, it was over a decade ago. Phase 2.
God, I gotta go back to phase 2. Let's say
I'll
something
give you a hint.
completely unknown. Iron Man. Am I on the right page with Iron Man? 2.
3. Iron Man 3.
Ah! I was there. I was this close.
So close.
Good
She was
guess.
the vice president's daughter. Yeah, in Iron Man.
Was
Which
Iron Man
is
3 phase
interesting.
2?
God, it had to be, right?
I'm calling you out here. Sorry. Maybe not. Never mind.
You're calling me out. What
Do your research better. No,
Oh
jokes.
shit!
Okay.
My
That's
God!
cool.
Give me a break, Jamie Lee. No, it is phase 2. It is phase 2.
All right.
Jeez, you're trying to call me out on my own channel. Golly. But no, that was Jenna Ortega's
10
first.
years.
I know, that's what I was like, sheesh. But that was her first movie that she ever did. I want to see more of her.
Wow.
I want to see more of her. I was gonna watch X. I'm not a big horror fan, and then I saw that like she's like nude in that or something. I think it's about like, have you heard about X?
Yeah, that's the horror one about the lady who wants revenge because people are like using her site as a porn site or something. Is it the one?
Yeah,
They're trying to make a porn movie.
Yeah, and it's like it's like a crew in a film trying to shoot a porn, and I don't know if like it's her home and she doesn't want them there. She's haunting. I have no idea, but I was like, once I heard Jenna Ortega got naked on top of Kid Cudi, I was like, I'm out on this. I don't want to see this. Like,
oh wow, yeah, no, I see her as a child.
Like,
I don't want to see that.
That's what I was saying. I was like, Kid Cudi's like in his 30s. Like, why did they do this? Like, my God. But anyways,
Weird.
She loves horror, so I was like, oh, let me check her movie. And then like I looked it up, and the first thing that comes up on Google, Jenna Ortega X nude scene, and I was like, pass. Don't want to see this.
Yeah.
Like, fucking hell.
No thanks.
Yeah. All right, we got
I
three
get
more
really
here to
annoyed
go.
with it.
Oh.
Sorry, I just wanted to chime in
No,
about
go ahead.
that dance there. She does like a second of the dance. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a second of the original clip. I put up a short on my page because I was like, what is this dance? And I went back and looked at it, and it's like, it's literally a second. And the guy, I forget his name now, starts with a D, but the guy who's one of the Nightcrawlers, those guys, he does it longer than Wednesday actually does, which I'm like, why are people still going on about how she, did the dance from the original one? It's like, oh, shut up.
I know, and she was saying, like, Netflix told her, like, when she did it, they were like, oh, this is going to go viral, just so you know. And she was like, I mean, it's kind of a dumb little dance. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. And, like, obviously it did end up going viral anyways. But, like, I agree. I was like, when I saw it, it was kind of, like, funny for a second. But I was like, I didn't make much of it. But, like, that's the world we in now where, like, everyone, the internet takes something, they run with it. And I'm like, it really was nothing that interesting. I mean, no offense to her because she choreographed it, but it was just sort of like, okay. All right, let's move on to the next one. We got 3 left. The Menu. So this is one of my recommended. I'll be quick with this one. Do you like horror, by the way, or thrillers?
Thrillers.
So neither do I.
But no, just slashes and horrors and.
Yeah, I don't like them either. But this is a thriller, and there really isn't anything scary about this. There's like maybe 1 or 2 blood scenes. One where a guy shoots a gun and it hits someone. But like other than that, it's really just this interesting thing about this chef. He's like a Michelin star private chef, and all these people are super like smell their own fart kind of people. Like, oh, fine dining and fine art, and and yeah, you like that one, didn't you?
I've never heard that before in my life. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I will use
but that's it's like they think their own shit doesn't stink kind of thing, and so they go to this, and he's like there's some shocking things on the menu, and you find out that they're all sort of terrible people, and so they make them repent. Essentially, they got to pay for the bad things they've done, and like as you're watching, it slowly goes on. But Anya Taylor-Joy's character, she was invited because at the last second. So she wasn't even supposed to be on the island. So he approaches her and he's like, "What are you doing here? You weren't supposed to be here." And you just sort of follow. And it's this big commentary on like how fine art is sort of ridiculous, and like these people. It's like we were saying earlier. It's like you can enjoy a very delicious burger, and you can also get some macas. That's what you guys call it, right?
Macas, yeah.
McDonald's.
We just put IES on the end of everything, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's sort of like that kind of thing. It is an interesting movie. It's on HBO Max. It's only like an hour. I would highly recommend it. Menu versus Knives Out. So I think where Knives Out tries to have this big commentary, I think the Menu actually executes that. But I would say Knives Out is probably more mainstream and probably a bit more digestible to everyone. But it's probably got about the same amount of like blood.
So it's still like a mystery sort of movie. The Menu is.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's a thriller, but like you're sort of like watching it like, what is going to happen next? How is she going to get out of this situation? And spoiler, close your ears if you don't want to hear, but I don't think it ruins the movie. She does find a way to get out eventually. And that is sort of the fun to me of like watching this is like, all right, how is she going to get out of this situation that she wasn't supposed to be in? And when I say she gets out, there's a twist. So, all right.
Awesome.
Next up, we got Falling for Christmas.
Oh, God.
Miss Lindsay Lohan. We both watched this one.
Yep. We did.
And what were your thoughts?
I'm glad to see her back. She looks happy. She looks healthy. And I really love seeing her acting again. And I did say this over on my channel in my review and on another friend's channel, which I reviewed it on as well, that she was great. Can't even think of his name now. He was from Glee.
Yep, he was on Glee.
They were both great, but together, not great. No chemistry.
No, and that's what you want in this. I think we could talk spoilers. I don't know how many people are gonna watch this. If you are worried, skip ahead a couple minutes. But so her initial boyfriend she has, I mean, he was not passing the boyfriend test to me. I was like, what is going on with like the chemistry? Then it turns out in the end that he's gay, and I was like, or maybe he's bisexual. I don't know, but like, I was like, he just definitely, there was no chemistry there. Like, it didn't feel as if these people really were interested in each other. And then it has the whole cliche 2000 sort of thing where she's gotten amnesia. She doesn't remember anything. And she ends up in this small little town and everything. It's like, but this is set in 2022. Are you telling me you can't, like, I don't know, scan her face or like put something out and be like, hey, or like even like her people, like you're telling me like no one knew that she was missing? This would be essentially the way I looked at it was like, if Paris Hilton goes missing, people know who Paris Hilton is.
Right.
You know Paris Hilton's face. And
right.
I think that was sort of how I was looking at it. And this was not good to me. I watched it during Christmas just because, like, you know, you watch these things during the holidays, but I was disappointed. It wasn't good bad, if that makes sense. It was just sort of bad.
I thought it was good bad because I really liked it. I liked the setting and I liked them, the actors acting individually. But as I said, together they didn't work well at all. But there was just so much wrong story-wise with this. If the story was different, maybe, you know, someone else cast alongside Lindsay Lohan, this could have been a real big hit. But there was just, as you said, so many things that went wrong. Like if that was Paris Hilton, using that same example, everybody in the town would know, oh my gosh, Paris Hilton is staying at this hotel. And they do that in the end. You know, they end up getting the hotel gets booked out purely because Sierra, whichever one she was at the time, ended up staying at this hotel. But it was like all those people literally were at the Christmas carols with her. All of them saw her there. Why didn't they notice it then? Why did it take 4 days for this girl to be missing? 4 days. That is a very incompetent hotel. Like,
yeah. Oh my God. Quajo said this would be the one time a surveillance state would be helpful. I mean, yeah, it's like the ability to look to look up someone's face it's just, we have that technology nowadays. But I feel like, okay, a couple things to switch and make this movie very good to me is I think she could have had amnesia and then slowly start to have it come back to her. But even if her, like, she goes back to, like, with her dad or whatever, she spent the day in this cabin place and she maybe sort of realizes, geez, we don't even celebrate Christmas together. These people have Christmas together. And, like, maybe she goes back to visit and says thank you, but then she's, like, sort of interested in going on a date with this guy. I feel like she didn't need to be in a relationship to start. She could have just been friends with that guy. And then maybe they go on a date there, and then from there sort of goes on, and the dad sort of like, look, we can't get married to this man because he's poor kind of thing, even though he owns a fucking cabin. And that was the thing, too. I was like, this guy's acting as if he's so poor. I'm like, you own a cabin. You own a hotel lodge. Relax. You know what I mean?
People were coming and giving donations, and it was like there's this massive box, and just everybody suddenly got a checkbook where they're like, "Yes, here's 100,000." Like, what are you guys doing carrying that around at Christmas? It was so crazy. Like, not money, like here's $5 or whatever.
I thought it was funny that it was like sort of like, okay, everyone loves this guy and loves this hotel, but not enough for them to like
stay there.
Visit the hotel. Yeah,
right.
like.
Yeah, Jake's such a good guy, but we're not going to support him, no.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought the whole thing, it's sort of like you said too, like them individually wasn't the worst. I didn't mind that. But like this whole thing about like the daughter and him, that was like that there's too much there. There's too much layer there. Like, where's the mother? Like, this little girl is an interracial kid. Like, does that have to affect anything? I don't know. It's just, there's all these other things and questions that I'm just like, it felt irresponsible for him to be so focused on
relationship after 4 days.
Sierra, Lindsay Lohan's character, Sierra, when you have your daughter and like this, your livelihood about to be up front in front of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you.
This is a good question. Do you think Netflix wants the Hallmark bag? That's what I was sort of getting. I felt that's where they wanted to go. And I feel like, unlike Hallmark, because Netflix has the name recognition and can pull those actors in, I think they might be able to do it. How do you feel?
They can. Not with these actors, but they can. And I'll tell you how they can. It's coming up February 10th. I just reacted to the trailer on my channel. Ashton Kutcher, Reese Witherspoon. Upcoming rom-com, coming to Netflix February 10. And same sort of thing with this. But it's one that I think will pull off. The plot doesn't seem so ridiculously outrageous like this. It's your typical, what you would expect from Hallmark.
Your place or mine.
Yep, guy, in love with this girl for 20 years, but they're just friends. And then, life happens and they end up getting together. Let's be honest, that's what's going to happen. We all know it. But they're two actors that have the chemistry to pull that off, two massive name stars that can pull off a rom-com to sort of get that, a Hallmark fan base to come to Netflix. I mean, I'm already here, let's be real. But I definitely think Netflix can do it. I really do. And I think they definitely want it. So, yeah. Anyway, my 2 cents on that one.
I agree. I think so as well. I know you did a little trailer reaction to it, so we won't go through it too much, but just so people can take a look at what we're looking at here, Your Place or Mine. So this is set in New York. Ashton Kutcher, I don't think he's done anything in a long time, but he's always been a favorite. Whoa, is that them kissing?
Yeah, they got together 20 years back.
Interesting. That was something I learned as a kid, pretty early, like that you should probably date your friends. Like, people don't think about that. Like, I remember like 3, 4, 5 different girls I was super close with and friends, And I was like, oh, like, should we take it to the next level? And they were like, oh, I don't want to ruin our friendship. And like, I'm not friends with him now. You know what I mean? So anyone watching, a little love advice: if date your best friend, date your friend. If they really are your best friend and have your best interests, I think that they'll want to be with you and look out for you regardless, honestly. But date your best friend. That is no question something that you should do. All right, here. So we got one final one. Drum roll.
That was a trumpet. I don't know why I did a drum, but anyway.
The final one we got here is Wakanda Forever. We haven't talked about Wakanda Forever on the Circle Club, I don't think, which is egregious. But Wakanda Forever follows the story of Queen Ramonda, Shuri, and Baku and the whole gang trying to protect their nation from intervening with this world war power, and in the wake of T'Challa dying. What did you think? What was like? First off, what was your expectation going into this, and then how did you feel leaving?
I didn't have expectations because I was like, I'm so sick of hearing these debates about whether or not there's to do with the recasting and how they're going to all this talk about Chadwick's death. And it's like, you can't help death. You can't cheat death. They're doing the best they can with what they've got. And whatever they bring to the table with what they've got, I'm going to go into that with open eyes and just totally respect, because it's out of anyone's hands. And I thought they did fantastic. The way they handled his death was amazing. The story I thought was really good. I loved the underwater stuff. I know now people have probably watched Avatar and are like, oh, that's nothing compared to Avatar, but I liked seeing that. Apart from Aquaman, we don't really get to see a lot of water sort of or underwater sort of things. So it was refreshing to me. I really loved Namor. Queen Ramonda was fantastic in it. Everybody was fantastic, if I'm being perfectly honest. I loved this movie. And the end. I loved it.
I mean, I think that it to me, it goes without saying, they do deserve a little confetti here, because this was not an easy thing to pull off, and with the circumstances that they had. And I certainly was not expecting it to be nearly as good as it was, but it hit all the emotional beats that you wanted. It didn't waste too much time on Chadwick. It gave you another T'Challa at the end, which is what I was suspecting. And I just thought that Shuri, you gotta look. This is the thing that people don't understand, right? Is everyone is criticizing this woman, and look, excuse me, I'm saying Shuri. I should say her name, Letitia Wright. Everyone is criticizing this woman by taking this role, and it's just like, okay, do you guys think someone who lost one of their close friends wants to then try to replace their close friend?
Yeah.
No. She was put in a situation that she did not want to do. And I was listening to the producer, not Ryan Coogler, what is his name? Nate Moore. He was talking about how they basically had to almost convince Shuri to do this, because she was like, dude, like, people are gonna come for me. I don't want this. I already play Shuri. I have my own character. And then like you had the COVID thing, and like then she got hurt on set, and then at that point she was sort of like, this is a sign for me not to be doing this. So like she had so much stress and pressure, and she nailed the fuck out of this to me. Like, she was incredible. And I know some people had an issue with Ironheart, but I loved having Ironheart in there for the moments, like her like girl boss best friend. You get a Black American versus the African American sort of thing. Black African person. And then who the hell had any idea that Michael B. Jordan was showing up in this thing?
Right.
I mean, when she turns that corner and you see Michael B. Jordan, it's like, what the heck? Like, I was not expecting that. That was just like a dope scene to me. Like that really like made me go, wow. You think Disney had CGI Chadwick in the chamber though? I think they were testing the waters with Carrie Fisher, but glad to hear y'all thought it was handled respectfully. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them. I'm sure they thought about it and they were like, this is super classless. We can't do this. They're really, to me, there's the only route you could go is if you recasted him or you killed them off the way they did. And I think with all the death going on in the world with COVID, I think it's just it's a story that had to do that could relate to anyone at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everyone was accepting of that, I think. Whereas if you had have recasted, like as you said, who Letitia didn't want to do it, but who would have stepped up to the plate? Who wants to be ridiculed or who wants to have these expectations? Like the first thing you asked me was, what was your expectations of this movie? What do you think this actor's going to have going into this movie? Everyone's expectations on their shoulders. Like it's just, I think that the way they handled it was really, really good. And as you said, the way that they didn't, I was really worried. And I know this sounds like a really horrible thing to say after someone's died, but I was really worried that they were going to put so much emphasis on the death and on Chadwick dying, and it was heavy throughout the whole thing. Like I was crying pretty much from the start all the way to the end, literally.
Oh yeah.
But it was not overdone, if that makes sense. Like it was not all focused on the death. There was, the story itself was great throughout. The action was great.
I'm about to tear up now, man.
Oh, it was great. That silent Marvel introduction just.
Oh, dude, yeah. Broken. I mean, I'm like literally, I'm getting teary right now thinking about it. Like, to me, what absolutely broke me was when you see Shuri sitting on the beach by herself. I was like, oh, like my heart was just like, I felt in that moment. It's remarkable. You're like, this woman is acting right now. She wasn't acting. That was, to me,
it was real.
That was her mourning the loss of her best friend, her good friend, Chadwick Boseman, in that moment, just sitting there, just reminiscing, like, man, he's really gone. And like, to me, it almost felt like it was sort of disrespectful. Like when you watch that film and like that moment, it felt like, okay, it was kind of disrespectful that any of us were even speculating that they would do this, because this was very real for these people, And then when the child comes in, I mean, I'm a sucker when it comes to kids. I love kids. And I was just thinking like, oh, if you have a child right now and you're watching this movie with them, I mean, just because you got to think like we're adults watching this, like to the kids, they loved him. They loved Chadwick Boseman,
Yeah.
Like, and like this guy is like a hero to them. He's their Iron Man, their Superman. Like there will be kids forever, for the rest of their lives. Like you ask them, who is your favorite superhero? They'll say Black Panther, because it was just such a cultural phenomenon when this thing happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And before we wrap this up, Angela Bassett as Ramonda, the speech that she gave them, I'm giving them everything. I was like, fucking my God.
Yeah.
How do you watch yeah.
Even her speech at the beginning of the movie where she goes to America, United Nations, was it? Yep, somewhere. And she gives that speech about showing mercy. Like next time we won't show any mercy. Like don't come back into our country. Not only was that like I was fearsome. Like I had fear. I was like, fuck this girl, I ain't playing around. But at the same time, I felt her kindness. I was like, they could have totaled these guys, absolutely totaled them, and took whatever aggression came at them next. But yet they showed mercy, they showed forgiveness, and she was like, I understand that you want our technology, but don't fuck up again. Don't come here again. And that alone was powerful, let alone her big speech, when she was mourning and stuff.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's where I was going to. Like I was like, not to get too male versus woman, men versus men, but like that just, to me, that's like that shows the leadership of a woman versus a man, because the way men react to things, super violent, they got to go action. She is thinking about, okay, if I don't want any more death going on in my family. I don't want
Yeah.
any unnecessary loss going on in my family. And to me, that was the moment, as a storytelling person, I was like, okay, sure, whatever happens at the end, Shuri is not going to kill someone because her mother is such an influence on her. And then you see, like, as she's going through things, her mother's constantly on her mind and thinking about and hearing her mother's voice. Her, like, Ramona had a presence throughout the whole film, even though she wasn't there. And she set the tone. And like you said, I was sitting in my seat like, I had Corey next to me. I was like, dude, holy shit. Like, she is, it felt like your mom, like, lecturing you or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, okay, mom's not playing around anymore.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
she was great throughout. And
Yeah.
as some scenes, her presence was definitely
We
there.
lost you there for a second. Sorry. We lost you there for a second. Go ahead.
Did you? My bad. I was just saying
Yeah.
that her same thing, repeating what you said, that her presence was there all along. You said when she was sitting there reminiscing about Black Panther being gone on the beach, like that's something that she didn't want to do with her mum. She didn't want to accept that grief and traditional way of grieving the way that her mum did. And then, she eventually got to that point where she was sitting there on the beach, as you said, doing that. So it was really nice to see that sort of come to fruition, I guess, and her her change in attitude, I guess.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah. I'm really glad that you added that there at the end there. Because, you know, I haven't really had a lot of time to talk about this. And I literally, like, maybe 2 hours ago, I was going to put it on in the background while I work. But, like, this is something that needs to be, like, watched while you're doing it. Like, and just thinking about that final scene again, man, like, I mean, literally just making me emotional. Like, it was so well done. But
yeah.
All right, folks, that is the curtain call. Thank you all for I am I'm a producer. That's what I love to do, is produce. But thank you all for watching the first episode here of Movie Mates. Make sure you all go and subscribe to my lovely friend, Miss Jamie Lee of In the Front Row. She has the best interviews out there. As I always say, super kind soul. She deserves the world. And like I said, comment down below. Let us know what your thoughts were. What are some movies you all are watching? And we'll be doing this stream fortnightly, as Miss Jamie Lee says, bi-weekly.
Yeah, you guys call it bi-weekly.
Yeah, bi-weekly. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. And make sure you make sure. I know we always got to be different. My God, we can't just. I mean, today is what 1/12/23, but to you it's 12/1/23.
Mm-hmm. My Friday, your Thursday.
Yeah.
Life, right?
But all right. Yeah. But thank you for coming on, Jamie Lee. Really appreciate it. And yeah, make sure you guys subscribe, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you for watching.
Bye. Peace.